D, wait for it, light bulb.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and we discuss them down below. You can also find in the description down below the 3 articles that I read to do this episode. So for my first story, Netflix is not going to just go into the woods and die. Now, everyone's coming after Netflix, and Netflix is fighting back very aggressively. They have a lot of deals going on, and some of them are huge, and they have a huge overarching deal with Nickelodeon, and which got a lot of people very, very excited. Now, the deal was announced, and that they will make a slew of original animated TV shows and features, meaning new content, including both existing properties and creating new ones. And one they were talking about was a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show, and some new content for that. Now, I think that's fantastic. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially as a kid. The 90s version is so good, love it. Now, I think that this is to combat Disney Plus because, of course, Disney is a never-ending stream of children's entertainment. So I think a lot of families, of course, are like, if they get Disney Plus, my children are taken care of forever. So the idea is that Netflix is like, but maybe if your kids like Nickelodeon and they can watch Nickelodeon content, then they're like, watch our stuff. But Netflix already has a deal with DreamWorks Animation and a significant amount of anime, but they must feel it's not enough. So, of course, all these streaming services want to make sure that they have kids programming to, I mean, it's like, some parents like to just sit their kids in front of the TV and like, hey, here's the babysitter. I know I do it sometimes. It's not the best thing, but sometimes you just gotta get stuff done, and putting on a movie is, a great way to have an hour to, clean the house or something. So that's my first story. So for my second story, Fede Alvarez, the director of the reboot of Evil Dead, and then he most recently just did The Girl in the Spider's Web. He's got a new movie that he's been working on. And now it's all being kept hush-hush. A lot of plot details are being kept under wraps. But the movie is being described as The Shining set in the White House. Now, I think this is a fantastic idea. Now, Fede Alvarez did start off with horror. Like I said, he did the reboot for The Evil Dead. But then he, and did another horror movie. But then he did Girl in the Spider's Web. And that did not do particularly well for him or the main actress's name. I forget her. She was on The Crown. I forget her name off the top of my head. But, so it looks like he's going back to horror. Now, this whole The Shining set in the White House idea, I think is fantastic. And it makes me wonder what kind of stuff he's going to do. Is it going to be old past presidents? Is it going to be people that were murdered in the White House that we don't know about kind of thing? With conspiracy theories kind of thing, even though I don't know if there's any conspiracy theories about people being murdered in the White House. But it just sounds like a great idea to me. And I think, I will definitely be watching this movie because I think it's a fantastic idea, and so maybe original, because how many horror movies have we had in the White House? So so that's my second story. And then for my final story, so Disney paid a lot of money for the Star Wars brand, and Kathleen Kennedy has put a bad taste in a lot of Disney executives' mouths. In fact, it is the only purchase by Bob Iger that has not been going well. Furious fans, significant low interest in the movies, a revolving door of filmmakers, some voluntary and some not, the lagging theme park attendance, and poor merch sales throughout this new trilogy. It's just a slew of problems. In fact, when the Star Wars trilogy first came out, George Lucas made a really good deal when it came out for the merch sales, and so he made a bunch of money off that. In fact, I believe he got 100%. Not 100%, but he got a lot of stuff, of money for the merch sales, because people didn't think Star Wars was going to do well, and they didn't think that kids were going to want toys and such from the first trilogy. In fact, the first Star Wars movie. And George Lucas got a great deal with that, and he made all the monies with that, especially with that first movie with merchandise sales, with this new trilogy have never been lower. So just with all that, a lot of executives who are not happy with Kathleen Kennedy as far as Star Wars goes, and so it looks like she did get her contract extended for 3 years until 2021, which is not that far away. And some people do like what Kathleen Kennedy is doing, but she's turned Star Wars into something that it's not. And I think a lot of people want to talk about Star Wars fan and how they're toxic. I personally just, my personal opinion, I do like the new trilogy. It's not my favorite when it comes to Star Wars, but I'm not one of these people that's mad about it, but I do think that Kathleen Kennedy obviously is out of touch, not being a Star Wars fan, and I think that she has not played any fan service whatsoever, and I think that, you know, a lot of casual Star Wars fans want to talk about how it's just these, you know, toxic white men in their mom's basement, and I think that it's a lot more than that. I think that for myself, I just think that as a Star Wars fan, I've supported this series since, you know, when it wasn't making movies, and I think that Star Wars fans deserve a little bit of a reward for being faithful to a series that wasn't around for like a decade, and we kept buying stuff, and then, you know, and then we were given nothing in return. And that's a huge conversation, and I'm not going to get into it now. So as I was saying, now her contract was extended because they wanted to just let her finish up this trilogy that she did, and also no one wanted to step in and take over for this complete abortion. Now, in an interview with Rolling Stone, she said she didn't know how long she was going to remain at Disney with Star Wars, and this doesn't mean that she's getting fired, but it's more like she needs to just move on kind of thing. And this doesn't mean that Kathleen Kennedy is going to go away altogether. She is apparently beloved in Hollywood, and as you and she has a lot of contacts, and as you know, Hollywood is all about who you know. And she knows a lot of people, a little bit because of her husband, who is also famous. And so therefore, I do feel like she's not going to stop producing movies. She just won't be doing Star Wars movies. Now, it looks like Jon Favreau's name is being tossed around as a possible replacement for Kathleen Kennedy. Now, although he's not my personal first choice, it's not a bad choice. And it does make a lot of sense. Now, he's the showrunner for the new Mandalorian show, and he wrote the first 3 episodes. And a lot of fans are saying that this is a return to form for Star Wars and are actually enjoying The Mandalorian. Now, I don't know if The Mandalorian is a breakout hit. I think the biggest complaint is just the length of the episodes. I personally wish they were a little bit longer, maybe like 45 minutes and a real 45 minutes, but they're not. They're like a little less than 30 if you add in that first, wasn't that last time on, and then you add the end credit scenes, which are so long. I don't understand why they're so long, and everything. And I think people are saying, I think people saying that they want more of what you're doing is not a bad thing. So I think that this is good for Jon Favreau. So tell me, what do you guys think about these 3 stories? How do you feel about Nickelodeon joining Netflix? How do you feel about Fede Alvarez getting a new horror movie in the White House? Sounds great to me. And how do you feel about Kathleen Kennedy moving on and Jon Favreau stepping up in Star Wars? Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next Sunday on my Week in Review. You guys have a good week. Bye! Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.